Hey everybody, welcome to the Matt Gerow Show. It is I, your host, Matt Gerow, here for another episode. Sorry, we're coming a day late. It's been crazy. If you can't tell, things might look a little different in here because I'm recording at night instead of like Wednesday morning like I normally would because I was working Wednesday morning. So long story short, I got promoted at my job. I'm like the boss now of my store, and it's requiring a lot more work, a lot more hours, which is fine. And uh, some might say I possibly bit off more than I can chew, but I don't think so. I think I'm just going through the growing pains of it because it's such a rapid transition. So I'm a little more tired, honestly, but it's okay. I've been wanting to do this. I've been thinking about this since last week and since yesterday, since I didn't get to do it. Glad I get to do it now. Welcome everybody. So let's get into it. First off, when I ended the podcast, I had to post another short video because Damian Lillard got traded during my podcast. During this podcast, I've actually got the Bears game going on here to the right of me, against the Washington Commanders, which it's 20-3 right now, with the Bears kicking off to Washington right now. It looks like Washington's going to do a touchback. We're 2 minutes 24 seconds left in the second quarter. And I'm got a feeling that the Bears are probably going to win this game. Washington has like an interesting defense. They've got some nice players. Offensively, they've got some good pass catchers, but Sam Howell is a little overmatched, it seems, so far. But enough about Thursday Night Football. Don't really want to talk about football. I just want to talk about the Dame trade and then some cool show on Netflix I'm going to start watching soon, that I'm going to recommend to you guys. But first, the Dame trade. Now, last time I played some Woj part, him talking, but I've pulled up the details and the trades that have happened since this trade and because of this trade. So we're going to start with the initial, though. Damian Lillard trade details, Bucks acquire Trailblazer star and blockbuster deal involving Suns. This is coming from sportingnews.com. Damian Lillard trade details. Bucks receive Damian Lillard. We all knew that. Here is the haul the Trailblazers pulled off. And remember, this is a 3-team trade. So they're not just getting assets from the Bucks. They're actually also getting assets from the Suns because they sent the Suns some really important role player starter players. So the Trailblazers got Jrue Holiday, star, okay, from the Bucks, DeAndre Ayton, which was the Suns getting off of DeAndre Ayton's contract. DeAndre Ayton, he's all for it. If you haven't seen, he's been calling himself Dominant Ayton and said that he feels like he just got drafted again. Excuse me. So I'm interested to see how he plans to resurge his career. He already is putting up pretty decent numbers, but I guess there's definitely a ways for him to go offensively. It's going to be interesting, though, because they still have Jeremy Grant there, and they still have they had Jeremy Grant. Let me go back here. There was another big man, Robert Williams. So they recently added Robert Williams in another trade with the Celtics, which we'll get into that. I just couldn't remember who it was for a second. And we'll get into that trade here in a second, like I said. But the making, like, you're not going to put, I assume you're not going to put Grant on the floor with Ayton and with Williams. That's just, there's so many big guys who can't really move very well and all think they're power forwards, but they all kind of play better at center, so it'll be interesting. They also got Toumani Camara, who I believe was a G League or two-way guy from the Suns, a 2029 unprotected first-round pick from the Milwaukee Bucks, and 2028 and 2030 unprotected swap rights to their first-round picks of the Bucks that year. The Suns, by giving up DeAndre Ayton, were able to acquire Yusuf Nurkic. Sorry for the yawning. I am exhausted, like I said. Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. Great haul for the Suns. Not sure they could have got a better trade. Yusuf Nurkic will give you size if you can stay healthy, some great defense and rebounding. Grayson Allen is going to provide you with some shooting, and Nasir Little has potential. Keon Johnson has potential. So good for the Suns. Now, this isn't where the trade ended. The trade continued after a Celtics Trailblazers trade went through, sending Jrue Holiday to the Boston Celtics, who they had just pulled from the Milwaukee Bucks, for their starting center, Robert Williams, their sixth man, Malcolm Brogdon, 2024 first round pick belonging to Golden State Warriors. It's going to be interesting to see what that pick becomes. And then a 2029 first round pick, unprotected. I guess there must be protections on that Warriors pick. But the unprotected 29 pick from the Boston Celtics. So they got in total 3 just first round picks, maybe 1 with the protection and 2 swaps. And then they got Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon for Damian Lillard. Pretty damn good. And Tumani Kamara and DeAndre Ayton. So yeah, pretty damn good. I'm interested to see. I think the Suns roster makes so much more sense now. They filled in a lot of spots. I'm going to be interested to see how good this offense is going to be. I saw a little bit of media day of Eric Gordon being interviewed and somebody else on the it was Bradley Beal on the Phoenix Suns talking about the reporter was talking about how they have multiple guys on the team that shot at least 35% from 3 last year, and basically was trying to allude to the fact, like, are you guys going to be pulling up like from 3, like a lot? And they were basically both like, it's kind of the way the league's going. So yeah, we're going to be pulling up from 3. So that'll be cool to see. And then Trailblazers, it's going to be messy. There's probably more trades to come, but the Damian Lillard thing is finally over, and it didn't end with Miami, which is so crazy because we all really thought that was going to happen. Miami, they're acting like they're fine. They don't care. I don't know if you saw Jimmy Butler on media day. It doesn't really seem like he's thinking much about Damian Lillard. So, based on his haircut, Thunder media day, really exciting. Looks like I'm kind of getting transitioned into different media days I saw, I guess. But the Thunder media day was pretty interesting. All the guys seem to love hanging out together and having a great time together, which always makes me happy to see that on my team personally. NBA is, media day is basically one of the last things we get before preseason starts. So preseason will be rolling around, and then we'll be hopping right into the regular season. And I'm looking over to my right here because I was catching on the game a little bit. Still 20-3, only a minute's gone by. Chicago has the ball now, so looks like they're looking to score again before the end of the half. Maybe put this 23-3. Yikes for Washington. Good for Dallas though. So yeah, that's where we are with the league. I've seen a couple of things from Dame and Giannis. Supposedly the offense is going to be insane. We'll see what happens on defense. Obviously, if it's me, I'm attacking the shit out of Dame on defense, making him so tired on offense that Giannis has to do all the work on offense, and then you build a wall. And then you rely on the fact that you're making Dame so tired he can't shoot as well. That's kind of what my strategy would be. We'll see what happens, though. The last thing I wanted to close out with is actually related to UAPs and UFOs. Haven't been able to be as tuned in as much as I would like this week, just because of my job, working like 10-hour, 9-hour days right now. But there's this show on Netflix called Encounters. If you haven't heard of it, it came up this year. It's by Steven Spielberg. So if you need there's really no better reason to go watch something, when you know that he's behind it. And it's supposedly very serious, very like well thought out, very well done. Again, like I just haven't started it yet, but I plan to watch it here, hopefully a little bit of it before next week's pod, and I can talk some more about it. Only other things I really have to say about UFO UAP right now is just that the stuff I've been seeing on Twitter and things like that is that there are certain people who are fighting from this kind of stuff moving forward, people in certain positions in office. There was excuse me for the yawn again. There was a gentleman, I believe his name was Lloyd Austin, or is Lloyd Austin. And he is a Secretary of Defense, or a former Secretary of Defense. But the important thing is he is opposing the UAP amendment, and he is also a former executive board member of Raytheon. If you don't know what Raytheon is, that's one of the biggest weapons defense companies in the world. Basically, there's a bunch of them, and they're all basically like Iron Man but worse. And I'm not talking about good Iron Man. I'm talking about like Iron Man, who Tony Stark, who used to blow up, the Middle East, basically. So yeah, that's kind of where that's at. That's really going to be it for the podcast today. Sorry to give you guys such a short one. I do feel bad about that, but I'm honestly totally pooped and exhausted from working just nonstop lately. But the podcast isn't going to stop. I'm going to keep doing it for me and for you guys. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment. Same thing if you're listening to the audio, and leave a 5-star review, I guess, because you can do that on some. And you can follow me on Twitter at Matt Gerow Show. I still tweet there very often, no matter how much I work. So you can definitely find me there. Thanks for listening, guys, to the Matt Gerow Show. You have a freaking good one.